You all, okay, if you're new, just hit got it on that message if you just got it. Oh, I love that tech tarded. That's hysterical, Marlene. Okay, we're gonna keep on people. I don't know. It just really gets me. But I started this thing a couple years ago. It was just kind of for my unit, and then it's kind of grown into other people as I got speakers, and then we just kind of opened up, and now it's all over the Mary Kay world. So it's fun. And this is your midweek pick me up. A little housekeeping, just so you know, is this will be recorded. If you're not muted, if you wouldn't mind muting, that helps a lot with the recording. I try to go through, I know sometimes we actually hit a button. I try to go through and make sure, just so it's respectful for our speaker and everybody else. And believe it or not, even if you're on in a quiet room and you're on speakerphone, it will create an echo in the recording. So I'm not trying to be rude. I just have to do that because I know some of you who wouldn't even know you're on there. You're so quiet, but we have to do that. The other thing too, there's a Lunch and Learns Facebook group. So if there's any literature, any material that a speaker ever gives us, we put it there. So the recording gets on there in about 24 hours. My office girl, like I said, technology repels me. I'm not going to do that. My office girl puts it to YouTube, but she is at a wedding for this weekend. So this one may take a little bit. So don't fret. We'll get it on there, I promise. And we'll be ready to go. So everybody has that and you can utilize that. We've been so fortunate. This is for the whole Mary Kay world. Doesn't matter if you're a brand new consultant to national, doesn't matter what division, where you live, what you do, what country, none of that. So this is truly a go-get thing. And so with that being said, our speakers have honestly just given their time and generosity and go-give heart to pour into all of us. And why do we pick Thursdays? Because we kind of, most people's meetings are Mondays or Tuesday. And I feel like midweek, we need a little like, okay, if we've had anything knocked down, it picks us back up and we're ready to go again for rest of the weekend, right? We have to maximize our time, especially this time of year, because someone sent me something. There's only like so many Fridays till Christmas. I don't know, some stupid like 6 or 7. I'm like, what? And so I don't know. I was like, you just don't think about that. So, anywho, I wanted to just welcome all of you. If you're new, feel free to share with all your friends, your power partners, units, whatever. And we have the honor and privilege today to have the beautiful Wendy to share with us. And she came highly recommended. That's the other thing too. If you all are recommending people, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that. Because sometimes I don't know people in other divisions, or even sometimes people are in my same division. We just haven't connected yet. There's so many of us. And here's what I know. We could all trade on booking and we would all get something different from every single one of us, wouldn't we? And so Wendy was gracious enough to accept my invitation. And Wendy, I just want you to know I love you. Thank you for just having the true Mary Kay ghost spirit, go give spirit and heart in which you work your business. You came highly recommended. I cannot wait to get to know you better and hear from you today. And so I'm going to let you take over, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm excited to be here. First of all, I just have to say, do you guys love this shimmer on the eyes? Isn't that the best?
Yes.
Um, you need to tell the company that their liquid shimmers that they made for this holiday, especially the champagne, my favorite. It needs to be regular line. Let's just all tell them that because it is the best. And if you're curious how to use it the best, just put it right on top at the very end. A lot of times with our creams, we put it on first and then we put other shadows over the top. Not with these. So if you want these to stand out, you put them on at the very end after you've already done your eyeshadow. Sorry, that was a side note. You didn't need to know that, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, I'm going to start with my affirmations because that's the way to go. I'm compassionate, loving, audacious, and fun. I'm a servant. I'm a creator. I shine because of the sun. I'm passionate. I'm focused. I believe the supreme. Helping others see they are important is the key to my bold dream. I'm letting my light shine. I am all in. I love my life. I work from within. My joy is contagious. I am courageous. I am kind. I am my habits. I am success. I am focused. I am aligned. I am able and ready. I am full of grit. I'm an achiever. I am grateful. I'm healthy and fit. I am daughter, wife, leader, and I am mommy. I'm Wendy Rickertson. I am authentic. I am his. I am me. All right, there you go. I always get emotional every time. I'm just going to warn you, I'm a crier. It's just what I do. Whether I'm happy, sad, it doesn't matter. The tears come. It's all good. So today, I actually wanted to start. I got a gift for my national a few years ago. Well, I think 2 years ago. that I had been wanting, coveting for years. And I really didn't think I was ever going to get it. And let me tell you what it is. Many years ago, my national had some $2 bills. And when she went on a top director trip, took those $2 bills and had Mary Kay sign them. And so it was written on by Mary Kay, signed, and she put a scripture on it. And 2 years ago, I got that $2 bill. And it was one of her very last ones. In fact, she thought she'd already given all of them away. And I had told her one time that was something I'd always wanted. And she's like, I'm so sorry. She found this $2 bill. And it was just meant for me. But one of the things that Mary Kay did on that is she wrote a scripture that she loves, which was Matthew 25. And it was verses 14 through 20. And I'll just go ahead and tell you what it's about. We're not going to read all those scriptures here today. But what I want you to know, it's about the parable of the talents. And if you know what that parable is or what that's about, it's really about a master who gives his servants talents. Talents is money back then. Okay. And so the first he gave 5, the second he gave 2, I think. Gosh, I'm not remembering. It's all fine. You can read it later. And then the last one he gave 1 talent. And the first one doubled, went out and took that money and invested and did different things with it. And he doubled what his master had given him. He went from 5 to 10. And the second one did the same, doubled, went from 2 to 4. And the last one took that talent and was so afraid of losing what he had been given that he buried it in the dirt and did nothing with it. And so when the master returned and they each gave him showed him what they had done with what he had given them, the first one, obviously had the most because he was given more talents and he was able to double it to 10. And the second doubled it to 4. And they were both praised for what they did. The last one, who had buried it and had worked off of fear, did not double it. And what happened? Well, he was basically told, how dare you take what I have given you and not done something with it, and just buried it in the sand. And so he took that talent that he was given and gave it to the first one, the one who already had more than everyone else. Now, I will tell you, when I was preparing to do this talk, this was not going to be a part of what I was going to share. And as I was sitting here getting my things up, it was hanging up over here behind me. I saw it in my camera as I was sitting there, and I just thought, grab it. Let's talk about this, because one of the things I really wanted to focus on today was, what are we burying that we have been given, that we are meant to use to help and bless others? Are we burying our talents in the sand? Are we using what we've been given? And so I love that story, in that when we use what we are given, and I'm sure there's some people, and you'll see it in Mary Kay, there are people who I feel like we're given way more than others of us, right? You're like, wow, they're so talented. Wow, they're so amazing. And we kind of judge, or we compare ourselves with them, and we think, I only got 2. They have 5. Like, they can do so much more. We are not asked to compare. We are asked to multiply, to do more with what we were given, and to share our voice and to share our story with others. Because the point of our experiences, the point of the gifts and talents we were given, is not for us. And I think sometimes we think it is, but the truth is, it is to bless other people's lives. It's as simple as that. We are given talents and gifts to bless other people's lives. One of my favorite things that Mary Kay taught, that I feel like has really guided me in my career with Mary Kay, which, by the way, give you a quick little short story. I don't know. I've been married with Mary Kay for 25 years. So it's been a minute. And when I started, I was a newlywed. I had just gotten married 2 months before. So I was fresh in the world, barely an adult, really. and ready to just take on the world. And I had this idea of what I thought my life was going to look like. I started Mary Kay because I knew when I had kids, I was going to be home with them. I wanted to be home with them. I know that's not everyone's dream. That was my dream. Sorry, I'm going to do this a lot. What I didn't know was that having children was going to be a problem for me. I didn't know I was going to have infertility. I didn't know. But what's amazing is this business that I started so that I could be home with children is the reason I have children. I was able to work my business to make the money I needed to try every possible way besides stealing them. Obviously, I would never do that, to have children, to build my family. And I mean, we had it was 12 years of infertility, of trying. We had 4 adoptions fall through. We did in vitro, we did artificial insemination, we did all of the things. And yeah, many of those things did not work. But here's the thing, I'm so grateful that Mary Kay gave me during that time. It gave me the money to be able to try all of those things. Because what I think would have been worse is to feel like the only reason I didn't have kids was because I didn't have the money. Because anytime you hear the word infertility, the pocketbooks come out, they're like, pay us lots of money, because insurance doesn't want to cover it often, and on and on. And so I'm so grateful for Mary Kay for 2 things during that 12-year period. Number 1, it gave me that money to be able to try all of those things. Number 2, it gave me a support system that I needed to get me through those 12 years, those failed adoptions. The people you meet in Mary Kay are some of the best gifts that you can receive. Just to be around them, just to be with them. Now, why am I telling you all of this? After 12 years, one of the things Mary Kay gave me was it gave me a business that I had built for 12 years that was solid. So that when that little boy, it was actually our 4th adoption try that did work, and we were able to bring him home, I was able to go home and be with him. And I really needed that time, not just because, I had waited so long, but my son was dealing with addictions. He had some drugs in his system and some different things. And there were 6 months of his first 6 months of life where he didn't sleep much. He would sleep no more than 2 hours at a time. And so we were both a little delirious, okay, after those 6 months. And I'm just grateful that I had a business that could help me float during that time of just, all of that. Well, 5 years after adopting him, we went to adopt another baby. And quick little short story, he ended up dying 2 days before his delivery. And so that's a whole nother thing. But because of that adoption, of that not going through, we had somebody approach us and ask us if they could be a surrogate for us. And so we had always not really felt good about that. But in that moment, it felt right. We said yes, but I asked the doctor if he could implant both of us. Now, just so you know, if you're going to do 2 people, it really raises the price. And I knew I had to come up with a lot of money in order to do that, $40,000 to be exact. And this business is amazing because in a short period of time, I was able to sell enough to be able to do that. And when we went through the whole process, this is many miracles we're not going to talk about today. I was the one that ended up getting pregnant and she did not. And I was able to carry him. So you don't know what this business can bring you. And sometimes it's not the pink Cadillac that you're expecting, but it's something even greater. So here's the thing. I want you to think about what And the reason I share this story is because sometimes our story and our voice is meant to share with others. There may be somebody here who needed to hear my story today, needed to know that there is a light at the end of that tunnel. Maybe you know somebody in your life that needs to hear that story. So I share that with you because we need to bring and use our stories of hope and share it with others. You have a story to share. And Mary Kay is one of the best vehicles for sharing your voice and sharing your story. I recently started reading a book called Believe Bigger. I know many people have read this book. It's incredible if you've not. It's by Marshawn Evans Daniels. And I just wanted to share just a couple of things. I mean, this is, we're not going to take much time here, but this is what she says. She says, your voice is what you do. It's who you are. And this is what you use to awaken others. Now, why the word awaken? I love that word because when we are awake, what happens? We are able to focus. We are able to be present, okay, with where we're at. We're not in a dream state anymore. We're able to be present and be there. And so what are we awakening? Why do we want to be awakening things in others? And I believe what that means for me is that they get to be awakened to their greatness. They get to wake up to who they are. Because too often we've listened to another voice in our head. And I'm just going to say this. You can believe what you want, but I believe there's three voices we hear in our head. The first is our own. The second would be, some people call it little me. That's what she calls it in there. It's the negative version. Some people call it the devil, Satan. Some people call it your natural state, your natural man, the lower self. And it's that voice that's negative. And then the third voice we can hear is more of a heavenly voice, something that inspires, something that tells us, gives us inspiration. And that voice is going to be, it's not a question voice. Anytime you hear questions, it's either coming from yourself or that lower self. But when we hear inspiration and we're told to do something and we do it, guess what happens? Miracles happen, not just for you, but for other people in their lives. And I truly believe that. You don't have to buy into that. That's just something I believe. But here's what I believe when we hear that lower self or that little me voice, it will always use facts to in a false context to give us to get us to make a case against ourselves. And that whole point is to make us doubt who we are, make us doubt our own voice, make us doubt what we believe about ourselves, to make us minimize ourselves so that we don't stand tall, so we don't use our talents, so we bury them because we feel like we don't have anything to offer. We're afraid, and so we bury it deep. Okay. Whenever we come to face with our true destiny, we default to our greatest insecurity. So here's my question to you. Are you living in your business to the fullest right now? Have you maybe been living below your means right now? I'm going to be honest. I have been living below my means for a couple of months. And, we all go through different phases. I'm also homeschooling my kids right now. Isn't that so fun for me? But I, we do crazy things, whatever. I made fun of people who did that before, and here I am. So, you just never know. But we default to our greatest insecurities. So here's my question. What insecurities are you giving power to right now that's keeping you from being your best? Because you are in Mary Kay for a reason. You're here watching this video live or replay later for a reason. You are meant to touch and change lives. And the only way to do that in the Mary Kay world is to be in front of people. to get out of your own way and use your voice to change lives. And we do that through the product, and we do that through the business opportunity. So what insecurities are you giving power to that is holding you back, that's keeping you from being your very best? I want to share one little thing. At seminar, I had kind of been doing the same thing I'd been doing for a couple of months recently again. You know how we go through these things? We go through phases, right? And I went to seminar and I was just telling myself these stories of, I can't recruit. I'm not recruiting as many people. I'm telling myself, maybe it's, the world right now. People just don't want to, be on teams. Then I went to seminar, got my head a little bit more right. And while I was there, I thought, you need to message this person. And at that time, when I went to seminar, I said, I will be obedient to what I feel inspired doing. And if you've ever heard the 5-second rule, it is this: when you feel inspired to do something, you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do it. Blast off. You do it. Okay. And it sounds so simple, but doing it is the key. And the reason you don't count up to 5 is because you could keep counting, right? There's infinite numbers. You could keep on going, but counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 gives you 5 seconds. It allows you to do it. And it takes the fear away, because once you get past 5 seconds, fear steps in. And remember what happened to the person who buried their talent? They did that out of fear. And fear and faith cannot live together in the same house. So you can either choose to live by faith or live by fear, but you can't do both at the same time. And so faith has a much higher frequency than fear does. So you want to do bigger and have better, live by faith. The second piece, and I wasn't going to talk about this, popped in my head, I'm going to share it. I want you to think about the law of the harvest. The law of the harvest is this: whatever you plant is what's going to grow, right? You plant fear, that's what's going to grow. You plant faith, that's what will grow. Okay. So think through the things you're planting in your life, and the way we plant those are through our words, through our actions or lack of action. Okay. Through procrastination. What we plant is what's going to grow. But how many of you have planted something in faith and didn't harvest what you were hoping to harvest? That can happen. Here's what I want you to know. Do not dig up what you planted in faith. I wrote it down right. Okay. Do not dig up and pull out what you planted in faith. Don't dig up and doubt what you planted in faith. I didn't write it right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You get the idea. Don't dig it up. If you planted in faith, keep having faith that what you're planting will grow. And it may not look the way you wanted it to, but it will. But here's the other piece I want you to think about. You also have to harvest what it is growing. This year in my garden, this is why I'm bringing it up, I planted a whole bunch of stuff. I had tomatoes, and you guys, I have tomatoes coming out of my ears right now, which is awesome, right? But there are many tomatoes that have gone bad on the vine because I did not harvest them. How many times have you put in work in your business and then didn't follow up? Didn't reap the harvest from the effort that you had put in, and it went bad on the vine? I want you to think through that. So here's what I want you to do. As you're thinking through and thinking about, I want to be obedient, I don't want to bury things in doubt, okay, and my fear. Think right now, who pops in your head? Who do I need to follow up with? So going back to my seminar story, I felt inspired to message 5 different people. All 5 of those people became members on my team because I messaged them when I felt inspired to. And I had been in a recruiting drought before that because I've been telling myself stories. It's not true. None of those things are true, right? But I went by faith and I messaged those people. 2 signed up on the spot. I said, I would love to have you on my team. You guys, it is about being obedient and being brave and being bold and deciding. How many of you know the word decide? It stands for, you think of anything that ends in side, and you've heard this, I'm sure many of you have, but for some of you, it's new. Anything that ends in side, like suicide, insecticide, homicide, all mean to kill something, to kill off. And decide is no different. When you decide to do something, that means you kill off all other options. So if you're deciding that you're going to eat healthier, but you still have ice cream in the freezer, you have not killed off all other options. Does that make sense? It is still in there. So you want to kill off all other options means you throw that away. You get it out of your house. What do you need to kill off in order to become more successful in your business? Maybe you need to kill procrastination. And that happens by one decision. It could be one action that you do today that will change that. So I'm going to end with this thought. There were so many things I was going to share, you guys, but we're going to just go with what we got. This is one thing that is very unique to me, so I will share it. There is a saying that I heard many years ago where they talked about the richest place in the world is the graveyard. It's the richest place because that is where many dreams, many goals were buried. Things that people didn't have the courage to do in their lifetime, that they dreamt of, that they wanted to do, that they never did. And songs that were never sung, songs that were never written. And so that was something that really hit me when I heard that saying. And so at the time, you'll know a lot in Mary Kay people, we are acronym people. This is an acronym that I came up with that has blessed my life. And it's the acronym SING. And the reason I chose SING is because I'm a singer. It's something I love to do. But most people, even people who sing well, when they go to sing, feel nervous. Have I practiced enough? Have I done the work? Whatever it is, you still feel a little bit of nerves, a little bit of butterflies right before you sing. And I really feel like it's something everyone can relate to. Now, if you're not a very good singer, then karaoke night is not your favorite. Okay. You're probably not feeling that. But the reason I love the SING acronym is because everyone can sing in their life, but your song looks different than my song. So I want you to think about singing every day in your life. So the S stands for serve someone. Because when we are focused on ourselves, we can't bless other people. But when we get rid of that and we remember that imaginary sign around everyone's neck that says, make me feel important, and you serve someone else, you will be blessed and you will be able to bless somebody else. So serve someone every day. The I stands for inspired. And what that means is get inspired. You can do that through the Miracle Morning if that's something you do. I love listening to different people that I like, reading books, something that inspires you. It might be scripture. It might be a song, whatever it is. It might be an affirmation that you say, but get inspired every day so you can inspire others along the way. Okay. The N stands for next step. And that is the next step towards your goal. What is one thing you can do today to get you closer to your goal? That is the next step, because even one thing can make you feel like you've accomplished something today. It doesn't have to be 6, guys. Even just one, you can get closer to your goal. The G, the last one, is gratitude. And gratitude can come in lots of different ways. But, we talked about vibration. Faith is a much higher vibration. The absolute highest vibration there is gratitude. And they did many research and studies with people, and they showed that when people were in gratitude, if they were in a state of lower emotions, as soon as they started talking about the things they were grateful for and feeling gratitude, it immediately changed the levels of serotonin. Is it serotonin? Is that the good one? Anyway, in our body, that might be the bad one. So it didn't increase that. The good one. It increased that, and they immediately were lifted. The way they talked was greatly increased because of that gratitude. So the last piece is take and do something. Talk about what you're grateful for. Write it down. Send somebody a love note. That could be part of your gratitude, and tell them why you're grateful for them. But that gratitude will change your day. It can change everything. Taking that moment to know what you're grateful for. All right. Well, I know this was a little bit of a hodgepodge. It was a little bit everywhere, but I hope it blessed somebody today. And I will just say that in your business, it is about deciding what is it that you want, and then share your voice with others and sing every single day. And I know that it can make a difference in your life, and it can make a difference in the people that you are around. And then the last thing would be the thing that Mary Kay always said, which is imagine everyone you meet is wearing that imaginary sign that says, make me feel important, and do it. Make them feel important. And remember, when you look in the mirror, you're wearing that sign too. So make you feel important too. That's all I got to say. Thanks, guys.
Oh my gosh, Wendy, that was amazing. So many nuggets and so many takeaways. Thank you for sharing your heart, being vulnerable, your story. You're right. We got to share our stories. They mean so much. And everyone, even if some of us are very similar, our stories are different, right? Of how we get places. And so I just want to thank you all for being part of this Lunch and Learn and making it so successful. And thank you, ladies. We'll be back here again next Thursday. I have the new thing on the Lunch and Learn. So we have the new graphics so you all can see the dates, and just make this a no excuse November. Be excited for it. Run the race. And I hope you all have an amazing Thursday and a great rest of your week. Bye, friends.